station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
With this seventh inning, pinch hit double, Ichiro Suzuki is now 2 hits shy of the 3,000 hit club. He's in the lineup tonight. He'll bat third. Will we see history? We're about to find out. Baseball coming up. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We're in Little Havana. That's Marlins Park in Miami. And tonight, game number 2 of the 4-game set, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us as we get you set for baseball. Could be a historic night. Ichiro, 2 hits shy of 3,000.
Well, I'll tell you, baseball fans from 2 countries separated by a Pacific Ocean, the biggest of oceans, looking for the biggest event in Japanese baseball history tonight, and that is not an overstatement.
It's incredible, the career that he's had. 42 years old, Ichiro Suzuki in the lineup tonight. We'll take a look at this road trip. The Cardinals have had success against some of the best. More coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Churko out to deep left field. Looking, it is gone. 2-run homer, Jed Churko. Hit the other way, it is a fair ball. Hazelbaker will score. Wong diving into second base as he comes through. Cardinals go on top. It's 5-4. That is well hit. Out to deep left field. Yelich back at the wall. It's gone. Home run, Aledmys Diaz off of Fernandez. Bud Light Live by Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. It's been a gorgeous day here in the Miami area. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. The roof is closed. It's 78 degrees. Very comfortable inside Marlins Park, as the Cardinals and the Marlins play in Game 2 of their 4-game series. So Mike Matheny's club now tied with Miami in the wild card. Both these teams are 2 games back of Los Angeles for that second wild card spot. It'll be Greg Garcia leading things off, followed by Aledmys Diaz. .313 his average. He's in the top 10 of the National League. Matt Holliday with his 18th home run last night. Then Matt Adams. Yadier Molina riding a 12-game hit streak. Jeremy Hazelbaker, Tommy Pham, Colton Wong, and the pitcher Mike Leake. Jose Urena is a hard-throwing right-hander, still in the rotation for the moment for Miami after their big deal today.
Only 3 starts this year, but one of those starts was against the Cardinals, and in 5 innings he gave up 3 runs in St. Louis.
All eyes on the left fielder tonight. That's Ichiro Suzuki. 2 hits shy of 3,000 as we go around the horn, presented by Dobbs. So Ichiro in left, Ozuna in center, Stanton is in right. Prado, Rojas, Gordon, and Dietrich along the infield. JT Realmuto is behind the plate. Wonder what's going through his mind right about now. The media from Japan is here, getting the cameras set. The writers that have come overseas. And a chance to see potential history here tonight. He would become the 30th member of the 3,000 hit club.
In Japan right now, it's 8:11 a.m. the 30th of July. So 13 hours ahead in Japan, and the Jumbotrons are running. I'll guarantee you a huge following throughout the islands in Japan.
Here is Greg Garcia hitting .304. First pitch up the middle, diving stop. Garcia is safe. He gets down the line, infield hit to start this game.
Miguel Rojas, first game in a while. Hechavarria, the regular shortstop, being given an off night by Don Mattingly. And how about that? Rojas has to try to make that play immediately on the first pitch of the game. Did what he could, but Garcia beats it.
Rojas, by the way, can play all over the infield, and he is a plus defender. That pitch inside to Aledmys Diaz. Multi-hit games in 6 of his last 10. That includes last night. Leads all rookies in batting average and on-base percentage. And now he is going with that protective gear in front with the helmet, just like Yadier Molina did, I'd say 6 weeks ago. Yadi said nothing happened. He said, I just want to prevent anything from happening, and that's why I wear it.
Well, there are 3 guys in both lineups that wear that protective gear. Giancarlo Stanton, probably the most prominent guy, not probably, is the most prominent guy in the game to wear that extra headgear.
He was hit with a fastball by Mike Fiers 2 seasons ago. Diaz with a high fly ball out to Ichiro. He's under it, makes the catch, and staying put at the bag at first. Greg Garcia, 1 down. So it brings in Holiday, who's hitting .235. Average is down, but the power numbers have been solid. 18 home runs. He's driven in 59 this year.
One of those home runs last night to right field. It just curled around the fair pole.
Yeah, why do we call it a foul pole?
It's as much a fair pole as it is a foul pole.
It hits that pole, it's fair.
Right.
But we call it a foul pole. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Just inside that pole right there down the right field line. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and Holiday pops it up a mile high. Martin Prado called off by Miguel Rojas. And with 2 outs, it's the cleanup hitter Matt Adams.
What does Urania feature? Good fastball, a good slider. That's kind of standard equipment for most right-handers in the major leagues. But a very, very good circle change. It goes away from left-handed batters, and he'll throw it to right-handers too. Says only 0.2%, but he throws it more often than that.
So look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal. They've got Jose Fernandez, the lefty Conley, this young man. They've added Colin Ray. They've added Cashner from San Diego, and they have Tom Kohler. So 6 guys for 5 spots, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Dan, you and I talked about it in that New York series, that most likely club to add a starting pitcher was going to be the Miami Marlins, and they have.
They needed to.
Yes, they did.
Good bullpen, good back end. But 4 and 5 have been issues in their rotation. Colin Ray, it looks like Don Mattingly will start him tomorrow. And there's been talk that on Sunday, Andrew Cashner, who just recently pitched for San Diego against the Cardinals in St. Louis, would go in that game. Adams with a fly ball that's lifted down the left field line and out of play. With all the things that you talked about with this young man, this right-hander, lively fastball, good changeup, he was sent down to the minor leagues, and they told him, you have good stuff, but you've got to get the ball down in the zone. It's got to happen one way or another.
Not only throw strikes, but throw strikes in the right part of the strike zone, which is down. Juan Nieva is the pitching coach of the Marlins.
3-1 pitch. Fly ball again. On the outfield grass now, the dirt. Martin Prado. Ichiro is due up third when we come back. Next year, followed by Martin Prado, then Suzuki, Stanton, Ozuna, Dietrich, Realmuto, Rojas, Urania. Mike Leake will go tonight for the Cardinals, coming off a start in which he was roughed up. Matched a career high with 12 hits allowed. That was Saturday against the Dodgers. First pitch to Gordon. He shows bunt, takes a ball low. He was 0 for 4 last night.
What do Cardinal pitchers try to do to D. Gordon? They try to make him hit the ball in the air and not on the ground.
Somebody said to me the other day, why would D. Gordon do that? He's not a big guy. And I said, you're not asking the right question. Why wouldn't he?
That's well put.
Unfortunately, the penalty for D. Gordon, he just signed a $50 million extension and he loses about $2 million.
What's wrong with this picture that allows a player to do that?
Leak to first for the out. Arcia in the driver's seat on Mike Leake. Doesn't walk many. Fewest walks per 9 in 2016. Kershaw, Leake, Colon, we saw him the other night. And Zach Greinke, disappointing first season in Arizona.
In fact, in Mike's last 4 starts, he has not walked a batter in 25 1/3 consecutive innings.
Here's Martin Prado, 3rd in the National League in hitting, 325. First is Daniel Murphy, the former Met, now with the Nationals. He's at 351. Prado with a home run last night. Looks at a strike, and it's 0-2. John Hirschbeck is the crew chief. He's behind the plate. Bill Welke, DJ Rayburn, Vic Carapaz at first, second, and third. And the 0-2. Umpires are not obligated to meet with the media, but the media can ask if they will address a question, and it's with a pool reporter. One reporter representing the media. This umpiring crew asked about the balk last night. To their credit, they said, we messed up. Base hit. So Prado is aboard, and here comes Ichiro, 2 shy of 3,000. The Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Tim, what about the pressure on the Cardinals knowing that history could be made tonight?
Well, the Cardinals wanted over and done with. They would have preferred that he got his 3,000th hit before they showed up in Miami or after they leave. It's a distraction for a ball club.
He doubled 7th inning as a pinch hitter last night. He was 27 when he broke into Major League Baseball after 9 years in Japan. And now at the age of 42, doorstep of history. He had a batting practice today, folks. You would have thought it was Mark McGwire swinging the bat. He was launching the ball into the upper deck here at Marlins Park. The 1-1.
Historically, you hear the name Bonaparte and you don't ask what was his first name. In baseball, you hear the name Suzuki and you don't ask the same thing.
Two and one the count. Little check swing and a foul ball. 2-2. Well, Lee doesn't strike out many, doesn't walk many, so Ichiro more than likely puts the ball in play, and Ichiro doesn't strike out a lot either. Whether you're a Cardinal fan, a Miami fan, remarkable to have a chance to see history here tonight. If you're a baseball fan, you love it. The 2-2 pitch. Fought off and a foul ball.
Or just a fan of the human condition.
Yep.
Just such a wonderful human moment for this man, and he is every bit a man.
The oldest to reach 3,000 hits. Cap Anson was 45 years old, 92 days. Ricky Henderson, 42 years old, 286 days. That's outside and low. Ricky Henderson, 42 years old, 286 days. Ichiro, 281 and 42. So 3-2 the count. Let's see if they start the runner, Martin Prado.
You almost have to, don't you?
Yes. He is running, and the pitch is lined into a double play. Garcia to Adams, hits a double play.
How can you send the runner on?
What were you thinking? What are these guys doing out here? with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment. It's game day. Live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. That's for your phone or tablet. Yadier Molina will lead it off for the Cardinals, followed by Jeremy Hazelbaker and Tommy Pham. Hazelbaker and this right-hander, Urania, have a little history. We'll show you that in just a moment.
Recent history.
A month and a day ago in the minor leagues. Molina, 12-game hitting streak. He's had 7 extra base hits during this 12-game streak, and has hit .356. Average has jumped up to .270. The 2-0. You've talked about it a lot, Tim, and I think it gets overlooked. A catcher, when you get into the dog days of summer, your hands are beat up, you're tired. It is tough to play day in and day out anyway, regardless. But then when you mix in the fact that you're a catcher, doubly tough.
And you hit in 13 in a row going into August. That's pretty good.
So June 28th, that's tonight's starter for the Marlins against Hazelbaker. New Orleans Zephyrs and the Memphis Redbirds, and a brawl ensued. And it was a good old-fashioned brawl. This would last for about 5 minutes. Haymakers being thrown.
Yeah, serious.
You know, you usually don't see this at the major league level. You get some good brawls in the minor leagues.
Get the scrum moving around. That one moved down the first base line. We wish we could show you all of it, but we can't.
It's entertaining.
It is entertaining. A little gallows humor, but don't see that often in baseball anymore at the big league level.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Randall Grichuk was a part of that team back then, and he was in the middle of it as well. More of trying to separate some of the players, but being pushed and shoved, and coaches got into it. He is staying away from Hazelbaker.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of that scrum and you're trying to make peace, sometimes that's a wrong thing to do, because you're not deemed as trying to separate the players. You're deemed as part of it, and that's when you get popped, blindsided, and stuff like that.
Alberto Rosario, now the backup catcher here. He was there. Hazelbaker hits it down the right field line. This ball is gone. It's a home run. Knock me down in the minor leagues, fine. Take you deep in the big leagues, even better. And Jeremy taking his time with this home run trot.
I noticed that myself. Doesn't take a genius to figure out the biggest hit in Jeremy Hazelbaker's major league career that started back in April. Home run off Urania. Wow. Talk about a Hollywood moment. My gosh.
That one meant a little bit more than maybe the other,
I'll say,
8 that he's had, or 7 that he's had. He's now up to an 8 total here in the big leagues.
Man.
Good for Jeremy Hazelbaker. So the Cardinals have a early 2-0 lead. This is Tommy Pham. Did it seem to you that Urania in the beginning of the bat was a little skittish about throwing into Hazelbaker? I mean, he was throwing away, and maybe by purpose, but it just didn't seem like a comfortable way to approach Jeremy.
4 straight fastballs to run the count to 2-1. The first pitch was a strike to Hazelbaker, and then he missed away, and threw that ball down in the strike zone. Hazelbaker, a good low ball hitter, hammered it.
Jeremy's in right field tonight. No Stephen Piscotty, who is 0 for his last 11. Was hitless last night with 3 strikeouts. It looked like he needed a day off, so he gets the night off. Same thing could be said for Christian Yelich in Miami. Dragging a bit, so he gets the night off too. A 3-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. 2-0 Cardinals. Ouch. That hits his hand, it looks like. That night off for Piscotty may not be a long one. Tommy Pham hit by the pitch.
What's the dangerous thing about that is a lot of times you can't get that hand off the bat in time, and it's wrapped around comfortably, but when that ball hits it, that hand really has no place to go but into the wood. Pham missed the beginning of the year. As you take another look at it, looked like the, oh boy, outside of the left wrist. He had an oblique injury to start the season on the DL.
I mean to tell you, this guy can't catch a break with injuries.
No. Left in there by Mike Matheny, understandably, because running the bases, the hand may hurt, but it's not going to do any further damage. He may run the bases here and then be taken out for, or the next time he comes up, he may be pinch hit for, because playing defense is not going to bother the hand anymore unless he dives, of course. Grimacing.
All those little bones around that area too.
Yeah, man.
So Colton Wong with a runner at first. First pitch, a strike. Wong with one of the biggest hits of this road trip off of Jerry's Familia, the closer of the Mets. Put the Cardinals on top, and you saw that right before our first pitch. That was put together by Keith O'Brien. Always doing a great job in our truck. Hits it the other way, slicing and fair. Pham on his way to third, and he'll be waved in. Here comes Tommy Pham. Throw from Ichiro is not in time. RBI double, Colton Wong to make it 3-0. Here's what you're talking about, Tim, and that speed of Tommy Pham staying in the game.
Yep. And a risk reward for Chris Maloney, the third base coach. Very knowledgeable third base coach. Jose Oquendo not down there, has missed what is of the season thus far. That ball plopping down in a similar area that it did on Wednesday night in New York. Pham flying around the bases, scores rather easily, but a good play. Normally with nobody out, third base coach won't send him, but with the pitcher coming up, it was the right play.
Here is Mike Leake, one sacrifice this year. Bunts it foul. Well, the Cardinals could do some different things here with Mike Leake. Show the bunt, pull back, hit. You know, we've talked so much last night, again tonight, about Ichiro and what he does at the plate. When he first got to the big leagues, he had an absolute cannon for an arm. He was one of the best throwers.
Playing right field at the time.
Exactly. Strike two on Leake.
And right fielders, of course, the point is they need a better arm than a left fielder. He doesn't throw like he did when he was younger, but still very adept defensively.
He's played all three outfield positions for the Marlins. He had 3 outfield assists in spring training against the Cardinals alone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Say it's great because at 42 years old, you don't think of spring training throwing guys out.
It's a bad at bat there for Mike Leake. Can't get the bunt down. First strikeout for the right-hander. Back to the top of the lineup.
And again, that's why Chris Maloney sent Tommy Pham, because you got the pitcher up, normally not RBI men.
Garcia hitting .318 with runners in scoring position. Infield hit to start this game back in the first. Shoots it foul and out of play. Chris Maloney, nickname of Hammer. He's a little league kid. Just used to pound the baseball. Went on to Mississippi State. They said, you just hammer the ball. And the nickname stuck. 0-1 pitch. 0-2.
Only one other hammer that I could think of. Henry Aaron.
Right.
That's a pretty good nickname, Hammer.
0-2 the count on Greg Garcia. Oh, and he's hit by that pitch on an 0-2. So he has hit 2 in this inning. He's fighting for his life in this rotation, and this has not been a good inning for Urania.
Yeah, it's just coincidental that we showed that that fight of Jeremy Hazelbaker and Jose Urania, the Zephyrs and the Memphis Redbirds. And we by no means are implying that the 2 men hit this inning. It was a 3-2 count to Tommy Pham, and then Garcia hit on the right cheek. And when you're 3 runs down, there's no way he's going to be throwing at anybody.
And he knows it's a numbers game right now, and you wonder about the pressure he's put on himself in a start like this to stay in the rotation.
Sure.
Now, they will need a 6th starter 2 more times when they skip Jose Fernandez.
Yeah,
that's built in.
From a pitching standpoint, it's almost a must-win situation on every start for a young pitcher, a guy trying to get his feet wet in the big leagues.
Runners at first and second, and Aledmys Diaz at the plate. And it's strike 1. Diaz last night had that home run off of Jose Fernandez. Those two grew up on 8th Street in the Cuban neighborhood of Santa Clara. And Fernandez said after the game last night he credits Diaz's uncle and father for introducing him to the game of baseball. Those two had never faced each other with the exception of stickball in the streets of Cuba. Isn't that something?
Talk about a small world.
Man. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly to left his first time up. 3-0 Cardinals.
It's almost a small world made tinier because of baseball.
Both guys come to the United States different ways. Diaz defecting with the national team 4 years after Fernandez came over on his 3rd attempt. Cuba to Miami on a boat. The 2-1 pitch.
Reason I laugh is the catcher, Real Muto, wasn't really sure he had that ball. And these mitts are so big now. A lot of catchers use that catcher's mitt like a first baseman's mitt. You can't feel the ball. He was ready to go back when he had it in the webbing.
So many guys throwing 95. I don't blame them.
It's also tougher to throw with those big mitts too, making that transfer very difficult.
3-2. This could be a very important at bat in this game. A guy like Diaz, who is red hot, great power. His OPS is off the charts. Could really bust this game open here in the 2nd inning. And he comes back to strike him out. First, rather 2nd strikeout in this game and 2 in the inning. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
His fastball, Urania just featuring that pitch for the most part. He's thrown a few breaking balls. The first one to Diaz was a slider. But for the most part, nothing other than the fastball thus far.
8th man to come to the plate this inning is Holiday. 2 outs and 2 on.
I don't think Urania has any idea where that fastball is going.
Agreed.
3-2 count to Pham. 3-2 count to Diaz, and missing way inside to Holiday. Off the front foot of Matt. Well, that was right on the top of the left foot. Those hurt. Rarely serious. Some of these guys are so strong, though, now they become more serious than in past years. Balls off the ankle, the foot, find broken bones, whereas 20, 30 years ago, that was not the case.
1-1 pitch to Holiday. Instead, a check on the runners, and certainly Matt Holliday would fall in that category of one of the strongest players in the game.
Yeah.
Matt dropped about 25 pounds from this time last year. Taking pressure off the quad and the knees. Potential of playing first base as he looks at a strike. And it's 1-2. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside. Well, you're right, Tim. When he misses, he's missing by a lot.
First pitch fastball 6 inches off the plate inside. That slider 6 inches off the plate outside.
And the 2-2 pitch to Holiday. Misses in. Already 44 pitches for Jose Urena. Runners off with this pitch. 2 outs. 3-2 the count. Pretty good speed out there. Wong at second. Greg Garcia, your runner at first. Time is called. One thing that Don Mattingly was in Los Angeles was aggressive with his bullpen. He doesn't stick around to watch a starter get beat up, and he had the horses to do that in LA. Now he's got a good bullpen here with Miami. They're in a race. These are important games, but we saw that with the Dodgers. He's very aggressive with that bullpen. 3-2 pitch. Sent out of play. The first inning gave up a base hit to Garcia to start the game. Then he had 3 pop-ups, and now 34 pitches alone here in the second. 3-2 pitch again. We talk about all these guys as hard as they throw, and that's fine. Mike Leake is the other way. Mike Leake maybe tops out at 92, sometimes 93, but it's about movement, location. We talk about it all the time.
2 pitchers starting tonight that couldn't be different.
Right. And he walked him. So he's hit 2 in the inning. His first walk. The bases are loaded now for Adams.
He's had 3 3-2 counts, a 2-1 count when Hazelbaker hit the home run. Can't wait to hit against guys like this because his pitches are predictable. Middle of the plate, struggling with control.
Adams on the first pitch takes it outside. The pressure right now is all on that starter of the Miami Marlins.
Grand slams are bred this way.
The 1-0 pitch. Adams with a line drive out to left, and there's Ichiro. Puts it away. Hard hit, but right at the Marlins left fielder. The Cardinals pick up 3. Jeremy Hazelbaker, a 2-run shot. A month and a day ago in the minor leagues, he faced this right-hander. It started a brawl. Tonight, he takes him deep. Second, and let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Johnny Peralta is in Florida, and the Cardinals expect Johnny will take BP with the team tomorrow and also some infield practice. Of course, Johnny's on the DL with that ligament issue in his thumb. John Mozeliak saying if all goes well, Johnny could be activated on Tuesday when the team is in Cincinnati. Also, Brandon Moss currently on a rehab assignment. Mozeliak saying that Moss will also likely return to the Cards on Tuesday in Cincy. And Dan, John Mozeliak also saying Matt Carpenter will start a rehab assignment on Sunday with Springfield. So, Dan, the Cardinals are getting some key guys back, and they're getting them back soon.
Brian Pena also taking BP. Talked to him in the clubhouse after the game last night. He's close to getting back, and he's dropped, he told me, almost 25 pounds since we last saw him.
Well, he needed to.
The fly ball lifted into right, backing up Hazelbaker, and the catch is made. It really has been a juggling act of sorts for Mike Matheny. I'm listening to all the players that Jim is talking about, and the guys that have filled in, whether it be Jerko or Garcia, Hazelbaker here tonight, they've done a very nice job. So trying to fit all those pieces in, and there's a lot of pieces, good pieces, but come up with a regular lineup has been a tough thing to do.
That's a fair and true statement right there.
Then you get guys back and you try to get them in a rhythm at the expense of sitting somebody that maybe is in their rhythm.
Sure, pick and choose, mix and match.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ozuna with 1 out. Out to deep left field. Holiday back, he'll look up, and the Marlins get on the board. Marcell Ozuna, 18th home run. He drives in his 54th, and it makes it a 3-1 St. Louis lead.
That's the 17th home run given up by Mike Leake. That ball on the inside corner. It's in only 123 1/3 innings for Mike. And that's alarming only because he's a ground ball pitcher, and normally he gets grounders, not fly balls deep.
Dietrich shoots it foul. Strike 1. Barry Bonds was addressing a crowd today, the batting coach of the Miami Marlins, and he said he's actually given Marcell Ozuna some of his bats to use. And one of the members of the crowd said, well, what's the difference between your bat and his bat? He said nothing. He said, I was just trying to do something mentally different to make him think about the positives. Hey, I've got Barry Bonds' bat. Maybe this is going to be a good luck thing. Just something to change his mindset. And he has been one of the players that has really flourished under Barry Bonds.
It's not a bad formula when you think about it.
Tony Perez, the Hall of Famer, also is part of that panel, and Andre Dawson. Tony Perez was asked, who is the toughest pitcher you ever faced? And he's, are you kidding me? Gibson. He said Gibson was the toughest I ever faced, and it's not even close.
(1967), we scored 6 runs in the top of the first inning. Don Notabart came in the game and hit Lou Brock in the knee. The next guy leading off the next inning was Tony Perez with Gibson pitching. Now you know there's going to be retaliation, and there was. He threw a ball about 6 inches over Tony's head. Tony flew out to left field and was rounding first, came back to the mound and had words with Bob. Bob came off the mound. Both bullpens emptied and everything was fine until Bob Lee, a big strong guy, came out of the bullpen and said, where's Cepeda? Where's Cepeda? Because they had problems in winter ball. Cepeda was a foot from him on the right side and popped him right in the right jaw, and it was as bad or good a fight as I was ever in with any team in 20 years. Nasty.
Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. The McCann family is here. Brian is our producer. That's his lovely wife and their young son.
Can his son look any more like Brian?
That's Nathan.
Oh, that's Nathan.
Nathan is sharp. Brian, Here's a 1-0 pitch. I was talking with Brian before the game, and he said that his son's coming here tonight, taking a little family vacation. And Brian said, man, I hope to see that Ichiro could do something special, a moment that my son will never forget.
What a night.
May just get it first time up if you just joined us. Ichiro, of course, 2 hits shy of 3,000. Hit a soft liner to third that turned into a double play. Molina, Hazelbaker, and Pham for the Cardinals, leading 3-1. Molina extended his hitting streak to 13 games with a single to left. The 2-2 popped up to the right side. Stanton near the line, now in foul territory, and makes the catch. We turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's all about Ichiro tonight. I know Cardinal fans tuning in to a Cardinal broadcast for the most part, and here we're showing Ichiro Suzuki for obvious reasons. 2,998 hits, 2 shy of the elusive 3,000. Only 29 before him have had 3,000 hits. The thing about it is, Dan, as you said, he started at 27 years old.
Amazing. Strike to Hazelbaker. 9 seasons in Japan. He had 1,278 hits there. Hazelbaker with a home run off the man that knocked him down and started a brawl in the minor leagues a month and a day ago. Inside. Hit the other way and a foul ball. 3-2 the count. And he draws a walk. So he's hit 2 and now walked his second man of this game. Tomorrow, MLB on FS1 is back with a doubleheader. Division leaders square off. Bryce Harper and the Nationals battle Buster Posey and the Giants. Then the Cardinals take on Giancarlo Stanton and the Marlins. You can only see that on FS1. Action begins at 2 on FS1. Watch it live on Fox Sports Go. We'll be back with you on Sunday. Let's see if the Cardinals want to do some running here with Jeremy Hazelbaker. And also, you know, do you think about, if you're a Tommy fan, bunting for a hit? How well are you swinging the bat after he was hit by a pitch?
I admire Tommy still in there.
Double play ball hit to short. The turn by Gordon, double play, 6-4-3. Rojas, Urania, and Gordon coming up. Cardinals on top, 3-1. The Cubs win their game today against Seattle. Tim Lincecum going tonight against Boston. They came back late against David Price last night on the West Coast. Tyrell Jenkins starts tonight against the Phillies. Tyrell Jenkins, the former Cardinal that was involved in the Jason Hayward deal. So the Cubs, with their win, they now stand 7 in front of St. Louis and 9 in front of Pittsburgh. Don't look now, the Dodgers just 2 back of San Francisco.
Giants with the best record in baseball about 3 weeks ago. Not anymore, not even close. I think 3 or 4 teams are ahead of them.
Rojas taps it out in front of the plate. Mike Leake steps and throws and makes the play. First out here in the home half of the 3rd. Cardinals face the Giants. One of the last road trips of the season. San Francisco, Colorado, Chicago on that trip. That's a tough trip. The final trip of the regular season for the Cardinals. That'll be in the middle of September. Just looking at the Cardinals schedule, and maybe it's a good thing they're on the road. The Cardinals, the best road record in baseball at 30-17 after their win last night. Month of August is not kind to St. Louis in terms of home games. Cardinals are home for 12 the entire month of August. Every road trip, 3 cities here in the second half. When the Cardinals return home, which is a week from tonight, it'll be August 5th, and we are right square in the middle of the dog days of summer.
Named dog days for a reason.
As a former player, you get it. I mean, you've got to grind in August and September.
It's a grind all year, but
yeah,
particularly those 2 months.
High chopper. That is a foul ball.
Really, from the All-Star game to Labor Day, those are your really tough. That 6-week period is really tough. You get a little respite, the All-Star break, unless the guys are in the All-Star game. Of course, that's a huge honor. But that 6-week period, boy. Old injuries start barking at you from the beginning of the year in the cold weather.
It's a grind.
It is.
That's all there is to it.
162 games in 181 days.
First strikeout for Mike Leake, 2 down. Runners Night at the ballpark, presented by New Balance, Wednesday, August 10th. Fans who purchase this special theme ticket receive an exclusive Cardinals Runners technical T-shirt. And get your Runners Night tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Here's D. Gordon. Back to Mike Leake. He's now 0 for 6 in his return. 3-1 Cardinals as we head to the 4th. An incredible Cardinals package this year that includes accommodations, tickets to a weekend home game, personalized Louisville Slugger bat, and a $25 food and beverage credit to Brewhouse or Red Kitchen and Bar. Book today, 314-655-1234, or visit stlouisarch.hyatt.com. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. As time is called by both the catcher and home plate umpires, the music carried over right when he was ready to deliver that pitch, so they called time. And John Hirschbeck glaring upstairs to the DJ. He didn't like that one bit. First pitch is strike to Colt Wong, who has an RBI double.
Talking about it at dinner in the press room tonight. Igor's comment to young Frankenstein when they were digging the grave. He said it could be worse. Could be raining.
I love that movie.
Oh my gosh.
2-1 the count on Colton Wong.
Cult favorite.
That's hit out of play. The Marlins deal today with the Padres. Miami gets Andrew Cashner, Colin Ray, Tayron Guerrero. They ship Jared Cozart, Carter Capps, who's been on the DL, minor leaguers Luis Castillo and Josh Naylor. Now Cashner is a free agent to be. Ray is under team control through 2021, and Naylor is a Miami prospect, the only one in Baseball America's top 100. That's in the gap in right center. And Wong at least has a double. He is thinking three. On his way to third. Relay not in time. Diving in head first with a leadoff triple.
That might be the hardest ball to right center field that Colton Wong has hit in a month of Sundays. Talk about a guy who got on top of that fastball and just drilled it to right field. Deepest part of the ballpark.
And with that, the infield is drawn in. Mike Leake at the plate. Strike one. He tried to bunt and sacrifice back in the second inning. Couldn't get the bunts down. First two attempts and then struck out.
And for those of you folks who may be thinking about a squeeze bunt here, it's a bad time to squeeze with nobody out. The reason is if the pitcher makes an out, then you've got the leadoff batter to drive in Colton Wong from third with only one out.
0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Wong with the RBI double in the second. Now a triple here in the fourth. You know, that's one of the guys where when you think about Peralta back and Carpenter back, does it come at the expense of number 16, who just might be getting into a little bit of a rhythm right now because he's forced to play every day.
Heard of broken bats? Colton Wong broke his belt sliding head first.
And Leake looks at a call, third strike. Third strikeout for Urania. So here's the scenario that you talked about. Your leadoff man with a runner at third and only one out. Garcia has been on base twice tonight. Infield hit to start the game and then was hit by a pitch in the second. Infield in. Hit down the left field line and foul out of play. There have only been 29 men that have ever done it. 3,000 hits. Ichiro number 30 when he gets there. And unfortunately, a fairly sparse crowd here tonight in Miami.
Much bigger crowd last night, 26,000 for Jose Fernandez as the pitcher.
That's lifted out to Ichiro in left. He'll make the catch. His throw to the plate. Unbelievable. He throws out Colton Wong.
Dan, you and I are looking at each other in amazement.
42-year-olds aren't supposed to do that.
played by Real Muto, the catcher, on the short hop, but just credit Ichiro. Not even worrying about hitting the cutoff man because there's nobody on. And throws out Wong. Good play, Realmuto.
Really good play by JT Realmuto.
I don't think I can remember a 42-year-old with an assist in a game, honestly, at any base.
Something else. He's due up second. Too shy of 3,000. Martin Prado, base hit into center, first time up. Well, we talked about how the stars may align for history here tonight. You've got Leake, who throws strikes, doesn't strike out many, doesn't walk many, puts the ball in play. Ichiro doesn't strike out very often. And oh, by the way, you add the fact that Giancarlo Stanton is behind him. He's going to see some pitches to hit. Good stretch by Adams, and it brings in Ichiro. Soft liner, first time up, hit to third. They started the runner, turned into a double play. Looks at strike one. The 0-1 pitch. Ichiro had a start against the Cardinals that turned into a 3-hit day, and on base 4 times with a walk.
You've heard that expression, a pitcher has got to move a hitter's feet. Ichiro moves his own feet when he swings. You wouldn't teach this swing to anybody. But he makes it work.
On 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2. He's out of the box when he's swinging that bat.
Yeah. Feet are all over the place. Fred Astaire hitting.
It's another 2-2 pitch. Look at all the players on both sides just staring, watching. They stop what they do to see this man hit.
Well, they're not only major league players, they're major league fans of the game. Example, with the Cubs winning 11-0 today, all the Cardinals are watching the game.
Right.
In the clubhouse. Yeah. Right.
The 2-2. Tapped out in front of the plate. Molina pounces on it, and Ichiro is over 2. With 2 outs, it brings in Stanton. So you go from watching a guy on the cusp of making history to another one that at any point in time when he's swinging the bat might hit one 600 feet. You stop to watch him too.
Giancarlo Stanton had such an odd night last night. He hit 4 ground balls, the first one for a double, and then 3 outs. So the Cardinals pitching him away with consistency last night and pitching him very well. Normally, however, you've got to impress him inside, as Leake did with that first fastball.
You know, we were talking the other day about how Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, wants to market individuals more, to bring in and draw in the younger audience. You're seeing more and more promotional spots for Major League Baseball, whatever the case may be, interviews with one of the real good guys in the game at the plate, Stanton.
He is a terrific citizen, good man, smart, wants to learn, tremendous strength.
Here's the 0-1.
There are a lot of guys who are strong, but being strong and hitting a baseball is a different type of leverage, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
You know, A lot of guys strong, a lot of guys bulked up and strong. This guy has flexibility with his muscles, and that's what you have to hit it as far as he does.
And he swings and misses. Strikeout for Leake, his second of the night. So Ichiro in his quest of 3,000. Tonight he's 0 for 2. Top of 5 rolls in. 3-1 our score. Diaz is flied out to left and also struck out. First pitch is pulled foul. Pitch count at 75 for this right-hander. 0-2. Outfield is deep. They are straight away for the Cardinals shortstop. And his 25th double of the season last night. Pulls it foul. It's amazing the ebbs and flows, as we talked about, the dog days of summer, and also the stories that emerge in a major league season of players you never thought would be part of that story and that journey of a season. And here's one of them at the plate. What a story it's been. As Diaz strikes out, second time he's gotten him. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, as you mentioned before, Aledmys Diaz had never faced his boyhood friend Jose Fernandez until last night. Aledmys got the best of it with a 2-run homer and an RBI double. Aledmys told me the two talk all the time, talking or texting, but not last night. Aledmys says Jose is such a competitor. He knew it would be a rough night for him. Aledmys told me, quote, I just wanted to wait and give him time. Dan Diaz says he planned to talk to Fernandez before BP. Hopefully they're still friends.
Not last night, that's for sure. Infield hit for Holiday. And Matt is on for the second time tonight with a walk and now a base hit. You know, we were watching Diaz in spring training and he saw signs of it, but certainly no one imagined, including the Cardinals, that this guy would put up the kind of numbers that he has.
I wouldn't think so.
You saw improvement from the year before. You saw a little quicker bat. You get a look at Jose Fernandez, but not this.
Got the job by default.
Yeah.
John Peralta was out. Johnny missing 3 months of the season with that bad left thumb.
And then Tejada got hurt.
And then Ruben Tejada, right?
1 ball, 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out.
Yeah, the pecking order of St. Louis shortstops did not expect to see Aledmys Diaz this year.
And it looks like Diaz, when you start thinking ahead, has solved what could have been a long-term issue at shortstop for the club.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a guy that you would say, well, this is the shortstop of the future. There wasn't that player in the minor leagues.
Nope. Well, to give you an example, the Yankees trade Aroldis Chapman for the young shortstop of the Chicago Cubs. He's 19 years old, and the Yankees are projecting him as the star of the future.
Right.
Their shortstop for a long time. Good shortstops who can hit like Diaz. They're not around.
3rd walk by Urania. So runners at first and second for the Cardinals here in the top of the 5th. They start to stretch now in that bullpen for Miami. It brings in Yadier Molina.
We talk about the hit and run in unusual situations a lot. We've seen Yadier Molina one time, or at least I have, with a hit and run with runners on at first and second. But think about how much sense it makes. Urania has had problems with balls out of the strike zone. And now he's just going to coddle a little fastball in there and not throw as hard. Molina's not a fast runner. Why not take a chance with the lead?
It's risky.
It's a bold play. There's no question about it.
Especially with the speed you have on the bases, Holiday and Adams.
But the speed of the runner on a hit and run is not the most important thing. It's whether a hitter can make contact, and Molina can.
2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, rarely strikes out, puts the ball in play. And the other part of this too is that a guy like Molina hits into a lot of double plays on the ground.
Right.
The 2-0. Ground ball just foul. 2 balls and a strike. I wonder if more and more players will go to this look that Molina has right now, and that face guard in front that Diaz is using tonight. Stanton, for obvious reasons, using that as well. As Yanni hits it out to center field, that ball is down. It is past Ozuna. 1 run at least will score. Adams is held up at 3rd. Ozuna went for it, got by him, and it's now a 4-1 St. Louis lead.
And look who backed up the play. Ichiro, the left fielder. How many left fielders would go that far or would be able to go that far because of his speed to back up that play and prevent temporarily Adams from scoring? Not trying to make too much out of Ichiro, but he is a remarkable baseball player.
It's a 2-hit night for Molina. Now Hazelbaker, they will walk him to get to Tommy Pham. Interesting move here. I just wonder if Don Mattingly questions if Pham can really swing the bat all that well after being hit by a pitch. Hazelbaker is homered earlier in this game and walked. Urania's got to be thinking, you got to be kidding me. An infield hit by Holiday. He walks Adams, and then a bloop base hit into center. And now he's really in a jam.
I think the first thing you said is exactly on target, Dan. Whether Don Mattingly, a good hitter himself, an understanding tutor of hitting, guy who knows a lot about hitting, believing that Tommy Pham cannot swing the bat.
Well, Tommy bounced into a 6-4-3 double play last time up. Previous time was hit. Cardinals with a 3-run lead. Bases loaded. Inside to Pham for ball 1. It's also a risky move if you're Don Mattingly. You're putting more damage potentially on the bases, but Urania struggling to find the strike zone. Nowhere to put Pham. 2-0.
Boy, he's all over the place.
Wow. You picked that up from the get-go.
Well, pretty easy. Kind of tough to corral these pitchers. It's a helpless feeling from a catcher's standpoint.
Right.
I mean, anything you put down there, you kind of put them down, put your fingers in your ears. You're not sure what's coming next. Explosions.
A 2-0 pitch to Pham. Inside, 3-0. Take one, maybe two.
Why not?
We have a left-hander getting loose in their pen. That is Mike Dunn.
He's up for Colton Wong, who's next. Unless there is a double play ball.
And a strike. 3-1.
Tommy Pham licking his chops. He knows what he's going to get. Zero it in. All hitters hitting out of those imaginary boxes.
3-1, chop left side, base hit. A run will score. That's Adams. The Cardinals extend their lead to 5-1. Tommy Pham comes through and drives in his 10th of the year.
And Tommy found a hole, and that's got to run Urania. One would think, with Wong up there and the left-handed Dunn in the bullpen, the only left-hander, by the way. This ball eking through. Prado can't get it. And Rojas diving for it. And here's Donnie Mattingly.
Nothing really hit hard this inning against the Marlins starter, but that's baseball. So that'll be it. So Chevy called to the pen. Colton Wong will be at the plate with the bases loaded when we come back, trying to add to the Cardinals' 5-1 lead.
When you're wild, that's what happens.
Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. Join the Cardinals and Edward Jones in congratulating Sam Braden, former Cardinals owner Terry Moore, Joe Torre, Chris Carpenter. The 2016 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Saturday, August 27th. That'll be at Ballpark Village, open to the public. Learn more at cardinals.com/HOF. Here's Mike Dunn. We saw him last night. 2 innings, 1 hit. He threw 23 pitches last night, so we'll see how long he'll last in this game.
Pitcher due up 5th for the Marlins in the bottom of the 5th. Or the pitcher spot, that is.
Out to center field, sinking liner, drops in for a base hit. Wong extends the Cardinals lead 6-1, and Colton Wong is now a home run away from the cycle. Well, we were thinking we may see history, maybe a different kind of history before this night is through.
Colton hoping it is contagious. That double that he got as a pinch hitter, his first pinch hit RBI all year against the Mets, as the Mets dramatically, or I beg your pardon, the Cardinals dramatically won that game from the Mets in the 9th inning on Wednesday night.
Bases loaded, Mike Leake at the plate. Inning started with a strikeout of Diaz, infield hit by Holiday, Adams walked, double by Molina to score a run, intentional pass of Hazelbaker, back-to-back singles, Pham and Wong. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch to the Cardinals starting pitcher. 1-2. Hyundai pitch arsenal on Mike Dunn, the lone lefty in their pen. Fastball, slider. Curve 0.6% of the time. The 1-2.
That means look for hard stuff 99.4% of the time.
How do you get that 0.6?
I don't know.
Like halfway through, it just turns into a curveball, and yeah, curve 0.6 of the time. 2-2. Mike Leake, by the way, can swing the bat. He's been known his days in Cincinnati as one of the better hitting pitchers in baseball. Really haven't seen that so far this year.
The one thing he can do also is run, perhaps stay out of a double play unless he hits it extra hard.
Good point. And he struck out twice tonight. Bases loaded, 3-2 the count. Cardinals leading 6-1. Good cut. Just joined us back home in St. Louis or wherever you may be enjoying baseball tonight. Ichiro Suzuki 2 shy of 3,000 and he's 0 for 2 tonight. Cardinals a 6-1 lead. 3-2 pitch to Leake. And he walked him. The second RBI for Mike Leake this year. Third walk the Cardinals have received in this inning alone. The 5th tonight.
Keep the line moving, says Mike Matheny. Viewed from the top, that carousel. It's a happy carousel when that happens.
Oh yeah.
Does not happen often for any team.
Here's Garcia.
The reason for that is most pitchers can stop the bleeding, but so far not the Marlins bullpen or starter Urania.
In the 2nd inning, Cardinals batted around, and now they've done so here in the 5th. Garcia on base twice with a single. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, and he lines it into center field. 1 run is in. Keep the carousel moving. Two hits tonight. Greg Garcia, 12th RBI, and the Cardinals have opened up an 8-1 lead. And that closes the book on Urania.
You know, we were talking about it when it happened. After the intentional walk, the Cardinals have 3 hits and 1 walk, all created RBIs. 3 hits and 1 walk after the intentional walk to Hazelbaker.
So the final line on the starter of the Marlins: 4 1/3, 8 hits, 8 runs, struck out 4, walked 4, 1 intentional, and gave up the home run to Jeremy Hazelbaker. The inning started with a strikeout of this man at the plate, Aledmys Diaz.
How often, and I'm not putting this on Diaz,
I know
but
where you're
how
going.
often do you have a batter with a chance to make all 3 outs in an inning? I'm sorry. Just bringing up the possibility. Diaz will not speak to me for 2 weeks.
He lines it into right center, but there is Stan to make the catch. Here's a throw to the plate, not in time, and he picks up an RBI.
And I'm off the hook.
That scores Colton Wong, and it's now a 9-1 St. Louis lead. I saw Stanton get there, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, double play. Here we go.
Could have been a great arm in right field. But Aledmys going the other way with that fastball away. Wong tagging. And when you're ahead, you got to try to score, take a chance. And Wong scores without a play. I wonder if he's smart enough to think that way, you know.
I think they were talking about it.
I can't wait to ask him after the game.
Runners at first and second. Here's Holiday. Picked up the first hit in this inning. Infield hit.
Great game, isn't it?
It's a crazy game.
Nuts.
You think about how this inning started, and Urania saw an infield hit, walk, blue base hit. Nothing was hard hit against him. Lifted. Now Dunn comes in.
And the intentional walk has led to 5 RBIs.
Right. So it's all St. Louis so far here in game 2. 9-1 our score. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Cardinals have tried to give Holiday more time off this year. Yadier Molina more and more lately as we've gotten past the All-Star break, and with a score of 9-1, may see it when we get to the 7th, certainly the 8th, where some of these regulars will come out. 1-2 pitch. Hit out of play. But that's where a manager can try to buy an inning or 2, half a game maybe. When you get these big leads and you feel you're in control of a game, you can start to sit some of the regulars as you get later into this game tonight.
Not at 9-1, but if it goes to 12-1, then you're talking.
Yeah.
Guy like resting Molina for chance.
Holiday may be a candidate.
Sure.
Aledmys Diaz has played a ton. Inside, and it's 2-2. Not there yet, but getting closer.
The key thing that allows a manager like Mike Matheny to leave Mike Leake in the game.
Sure.
Take the heat off the bullpen too.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Force play at second base. The Cardinals pick up 6 runs. They send 11 to the dish here at the top of inning number 5. It all adds up to a big lead for St. Louis. It's 9-1. 16 and older take home a Cardinals fedora courtesy of the Shane Company. And the tickets for August 5th, next Friday, can be found at cardinals.com/promotions.
Boy, that hat is styling, man, with the black band, the Cardinal logo.
That's how the gentlemen used to dress. They come to the ballpark.
Yes,
in
sir.
A fedora and a suit.
Some of those old pre-war pictures in the 30s. Yankee Stadium, the Polo Grounds, Ebbets Field, Old Bush Stadium that housed both the Cardinals and the St. Louis Browns. That's not a fedora right there. Might be an Isadora, but not a fedora.
2-0 the count on Ozuna. Lined into right, and Baker won't get it. One hops off the wall. Marcell Ozuna, his homer tonight, and now leads off the bottom of the 5th with a double.
Marlins have 3 hits, 2 by Ozuna, a home run and a double.
Derek Dietrich will be the hitter. You brought up a good point, Tim, that, you know, a game like this, you can afford to keep Mike Leake in, extend him if you wanted to, saves your bullpen a little bit.
Sure.
Especially with considering that Garcia is going on short day's rest tomorrow. Just something to keep in mind.
It's a very good point to keep in mind. And I didn't even think about the Garcia situation. He's going on, what, 3 days rest tomorrow, right?
There's 78 pitches in that game we saw in New York. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Dietrich. There's a look at Jaime Garcia, Game 3 starter. Carlos Martinez will go in Game 4. You were wondering if anybody had made all 3 outs in an inning. That has never happened.
Get out of here.
Never. George Kell is the only person in Major League history to make 2 outs in a single inning while batting. Ted Williams, of all people, only one in Major League history to bat 3 times in an inning without a hit. He walked twice, grounded into a fielder's choice.
Wow. But had Stanton's throw been on the money, perhaps would have been a 9-3 double play. Or, of course, if Diaz hits into a double play, 6-4-3 say, he would have made or been responsible for all 3 outs in the inning.
Right.
It's the quirky part of the game.
Yeah.
That you don't want to be a part of. Not that part.
Not that one. 1-2 the count. Derek Dietrich. That's kind of like, you know, little league stuff. I mean, teams always bat around, you know, they're little leaguers.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to happen. But at this level, you don't see it.
No.
2-2 the count. Dietrich rounded out to second. Runner at second is Marcell Ozuna. And trust me, I've been at the little league games and they do bat around just about every inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 3rd strikeout for Mike Leake.
Like a changeup, straight change that may have been outside. But with 2 strikes, he got him.
Do you know Don Mattingly was close to becoming a Cardinal?
I have heard that story from Indiana. Of course, a big Cardinal fan growing up.
Evansville, Indiana. He was upset with how George Steinbrenner was treating players. Vocal about it, went to the press about it. So the Cardinals get wind of this. Whitey Herzog says, well, let's make a run for him. The Cardinals had offered Joe McGrain apparently, or at least had been in talks about this. McGrain was a very good lefty, young at that time, was good in St. Louis. And so when the press got to Don Mattingly and he said, well, where do you want to go? And he mentioned St. Louis. Well, Whitey said, well, that's it. Now we have no chance to get him. Because if George knows he wants to go to St. Louis, no way we're going to let him go to a place that he wants to go to.
No, that's right.
So Whitey said he's going to Seattle because he didn't want to go to Seattle, but there's no way he's coming to St. Louis. So now we have no chance to get him. But it was being talked about that Mattingly would be traded to the Cardinals. Runner advances to third on the ground out by Realmuto.
I'm not too sure how many people know how good a player Don Mattingly was, who developed a power swing because of Lou Piniella. Lou Piniella said, you know what, you're strong enough to hit home runs. Lou was an announcer at the time with the Yankees.
Especially in that ballpark, too.
Yeah.
Short porch and right.
296 down the line. Favored hitters like Mickey Mantle, of course, Babe Ruth, Yogi Berra, all the great left-handed Yankee hitters. And Mattingly took Lou's advice and became a power hitter. Holds the record, as a matter of fact, or I think it's tied for the record of the most consecutive games hitting a home run. I believe it's 8. I believe he
That's
tied
correct.
Dale Long.
Ken Griffey Jr. did it too.
Ken Griffey Jr. did it also, right. But Don Mattingly, a terrific defensive player and just a great hitter.
19th round pick from Reitz Memorial High School in Evansville, Indiana. And that is Cardinal country. Don does a big baseball dinner in the offseason. He is a huge fan of the Purple Aces of Evansville, which is where Andy Bennis became the #1 overall pick. He pitched at Evansville.
They're called the Evansville Purple Aces.
That's right.
I did not know that.
University of Evansville. From the Missouri Valley Conference, which is based in St. Louis. Home office in St. Louis.
Good going.
He was offered, by the way, a multi-year deal at the end of 1995. Turned it down. He understood that his playing time would be curtailed. And he said, if I'm not going to be an everyday player, I'm not sticking around. Next year, the Yankees win the World Series.
1996. His only postseason play was in 1995 when Seattle won it in 5. The famous Griffey Jr. slide on the ball hit by Martinez.
Edgar Martinez. That's right.
Wow. That, by the way, kept the Seattle Mariners in Seattle.
No doubt. That's a fair ball off the bat of Rojas, and it makes it a 9-2 St. Louis lead. Ironically enough, he retires after the '95 season. He was drafted in 1978, which was the year that the Yankees get to postseason play, and they hadn't been to postseason play until 1995. So there was a long stretch of years for the Yankees, and for our younger fans, they wouldn't believe it. It seems like the Yankees are in postseason every year.
Right.
But there was a long drought, and he was a part of that.
And who is Don Mattingly's mentor as a manager? Joe Torre, who won the first World Series in '96 for the Yankees since the 1978 season.
0-1 pitch, and a fly ball lifted out to deep right center field. This is trouble, and it's off the wall. So the pinch hitter, Kelly Johnson, pinch hitting for Dunn, drives in Rojas to make it 9-3. 3 doubles in the inning allowed by Mike Leake.
That's right. Ozuna, Rojas, and now Johnson. Takes that ball the other way. That was actually an inside fastball that he kind of inside outed to right center field.
So Chris Johnson with the RBI double. Now D. Gordon 0 for 2 tonight. Top of the lineup. It's kind of odd too, Tim, that you see Don Mattingly as a manager, and I say odd just because he played first base. You don't see a lot of former first basemen as managers.
No.
Taps it out in front of the plate. Tough play here for Leake, and it hits Gordon. Runner stays put.
That might be interference, or at least Mike Matheny may argue interference.
He's thinking about it.
What I think would be against the Cardinals would be Leake was in foul territory when he threw the ball. Maybe.
He's at the top step. David Bell is getting word from the Cardinals video department.
Because that play is reviewable. Whether the runner was inside the line or not. From an umpire standpoint, my argument would be, or Don Mattingly's argument could be, that Leake was in foul territory, and there's no place for a runner to run when a pitcher's in foul territory. I don't think. Watch.
He releases the ball in fair territory.
He's actually inside the line.
Yeah, he sure is.
And that is illegal.
Regardless, Mike Matheny out to visit with Leake. Slow things down a bit. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. I'm with you, partner. I think the Cardinals certainly would have every right to at least question the call.
Seems to me, yeah, seems to us. But normally if a manager goes out and talks to his pitcher, then the replay is a thing of the past.
So 2 runners on. Here's Martin Prado. Ichiro is on deck. That's the first hit for Gordon since returning from his suspension. By the way, that play is not reviewable.
Oh,
not reviewable.
Yeah, I was dead wrong.
So runners at the corners, 2 outs.
If it's not reviewable, I would imagine that was the explanation of home plate umpire John Hirschbeck.
Right. Even many in uniform still question the umpire. Can we review this?
That's true.
Still question marks about that. What play is reviewable, what is not? When can I challenge? At what point am I out of challenges? We hear it all the time.
Yeah. Might add, how many throws to first do you get, regardless of the speed of the runner, in a 9-3 ball game?
Right.
2 in a row. That's how fast Gordon is.
Prado a base hit to center and also grounded out to third. Now time is called by Molina. And the Cardinals and Mike Matheny just want to get out of this inning and regroup. Gordon had 6 steals in 21 games. Fly ball deep left. Holiday back. And here come the Marlins. 3-run homer, Martin Prado. Down 9-1, now 9-6, and a lot of baseball left to be played. brings in Ichiro. Slaps it foul. Two strikes. The 0-2. Ichiro will be the 30th man to reach 3,000 hits. His lifetime average, 314. On 1-2. Now, if that holds, the 314 average, he'd beat out Derek Jeter for the 4th best mark at the time of the milestone. The best ever was Tony Gwynn, was hitting 338. Rod Carew 328. Wade Boggs was at 328. And now you have Ichiro at 314, lifetime average at the time of hit number 3,000. The 2-2 pitch.
Combination of the Marlins scoring 5 times in this inning, and Ichiro now has the crowd very enthused.
The 3-2. Again. Slap foul. Full count. League average 214, but not for this man. 438. The 3-2 pitch. Ichiro on a hop to Diaz and out. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Cardinals picked up 6 runs in the 5th. Miami answers with 5. FS1. It's Garcia and Ray, the new addition for Miami from San Diego. New addition from San Diego on Sunday. That's Andrew Kashner. He'll go against the Cardinals. We'll have that for you on Fox Sports Midwest. Carlos Martinez for St. Louis. Last time the Cardinals saw Ray in that series against the Padres, which included that doubleheader, Cardinals hit 3 home runs off of him. Andrew Kashner, 3-hit baseball, but you may recall he was the right-hander that hit Matt Holliday on the nose with a fastball and then was lifted in that game.
I'd forgotten that.
So he goes on Sunday, and we'll see him for the first time in Miami.
How many times is a trade made by a contender right before the deadline that forces the contender that made the trade to start 2 of the 4 players as starters, because normally if they're a contender, they don't need starting pitching. But the Marlins did.
You know, you may pick up one because it's an ace.
Yeah.
You know, and you're really bolstering a staff, but
or a
this
guy
is
like
out
Chapman.
This trade though is out of need. They got to have these guys.
Right. 2 days in a row, starters from the trade.
Yeah, that's odd. You're right. Here's Matt Adams, who has popped out to third, flied out to left, walked and scored. We've had a little bit of everything here tonight.
Well, I'll say.
Big innings, home runs. Ichiro trying to make history. Colton Wong will have a chance to do that. He is a home run shy of the cycle. The 2-1 pitch. Nick Whitgren is the new pitcher for Miami. The 2-2 pitch. And it's slapped the other way and a base hit. Also mixed in there was the throw by Ichiro to catch Wong at the plate. Fox Sports Midwest proud to partner with the St. Louis Area Food Bank that provides millions of meals annually through a network of nearly 500 food pantries. The food bank can provide 4 meals with every dollar donated. Text FEED STL to 20222. That's 20222. Make a $10 donation to help feed local families. Here's Yadier Molina. Hit and run, and it's line foul.
I think what's disconcerting for Mike Matheny is if it becomes a battle of the bullpen.
Exactly.
You know, over an extended period of time, like the 4 innings, that's a long time for a bullpen to get 12 outs. The Marlins have a much more rested bullpen than the Cardinals. And Trevor Rosenthal on the disabled list.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Well, we're talking about when you hit and run, why you hit and run, and I think, Tim, the previous pitch or 2 pitches ago is a great example of what you're talking about. You don't have very good speed with Adams at first, but you throw that out the window. It's about the guy at the plate making contact.
You gain speed by putting the hit and run on. You gain speed on the bases by a guy who normally wouldn't have speed.
This game seemed to be at one point a walk in the park for the Cardinals. Up 9-1, all the momentum in their favor. They just put up a 6 spot. Miami comes back with 5 of their own, and they trail by 3.
Instead of a walk in the park, it's an uncomfortable walk in a bad area.
Yeah. At night. Head on a swivel.
Yeah.
A little tentative. 1-2 the count. Yadier Molina at the plate. And he shoots it the other way. Near the line. Sliding catch by Stanton. He made 2 great plays against St. Louis in one game. The previous road trip for Miami at Busch Stadium, and he comes up with a beauty here.
Similar to that catch, right, Dan?
Absolutely.
Sliding near the line. Actually, Giancarlo went farther on that particular ball tailing away from him, and the thing is, it would have been a fair ball.
Right. Here's Hazelbaker, 2-run homer back in the second, 2 walks. The Cubs have posted a win earlier today. Pounded Seattle. A win tonight for the Cardinals. They stay 6.5 back. Then they would move ahead of Miami in the wild card. Of all the things that Bud Selig did in his tenure as the commissioner of baseball, the wild card has been widely accepted and successful. Is he out at first? He certainly isn't out. Well, hold on here. Is he out at second base?
Is he out at second? You're right.
He never made the call.
I'm not too sure.
Now hold on here.
That DJ Rayburn really saw that call. He wasn't close to the bag. And remember, that neighborhood play is a thing of the past.
I'm not sure he ever touched the bag, Tim.
I'm
not sure he ever made the call.
He didn't touch the bag with the ball. That's what I saw. We're obviously going to have a replay of it, but to me, he didn't touch the bag with the ball and glove.
It's close.
It's close.
Ooh.
Under the old rules, that's an easy call. Neighborhood plays allowed.
Did the second base umpire ever even motion, though, out or safe?
Yeah.
He never did.
Yeah.
But once Adams peeled off and heads to the dugout, it's a moot point.
Right.
And I think that's why Rojas was talking to the umpire. That's driven out to center field off the bat of Tommy Pham. It is gone! Two-run homer, Tommy Pham. His hand is doing just fine. 7th home run for Pham.
2 at-bats ago, hit in the left hand, and he was in doubt as to whether he was going to stay in the game or not. Had good call, partner.
In an inning,
his hand is fine.
The Marlins should be out of this inning on a double play.
Yeah. Excellent point.
Here's Colton Wong, home run shy of the cycle. And he lifts a fly ball out to right. And backing up, Stanton to make the catch.
What a game.
Home run, Tommy Pham, his 7th of the year. And he's had a big night. This one crushed to center. One of the deepest parts of the park. And Pham adds to the Cardinal lead. It's now 11-6, midway through 6. Bullpen ERA since the break, they are 4th on this list. Yankees now minus Chapman, then the Astros playing great baseball, the Angels and the Cardinals. This is a situation, Tim, where, as we talked about, you wanted Mike Leake to go deep in this game, and now it's Matt Bowman.
And now you're just looking for an inning out of it.
Yeah, and
another inning.
You know, you'd love to be able to say O is off limits, which he may be anyway.
Yeah.
Kevin Segrist, you'd like to give him a night off. Those two have been used a bunch on this trip. Here's Stanton. 0 for 2 tonight. He's flied to right and also struck out back in the 4th. So Mike Leake gives the Cardinals 5 innings tonight. Season has progressed and the importance of Matt Bowman has increased in terms of how he's used out of the bullpen. Not just a long man anymore, the 25th man. He's come in tough spots, and tonight it's a 5-run lead.
5-run lead against a team that just scored 5 runs the inning before he got in there.
Randall Grichuk has come in this ball game, so he will bat 9th and lead things off next inning. And Bowman is in Hazelbaker's spot, so Jeremy is out of this game. The 2-2 taken low. So you're looking for multiple innings here tonight for Matt Bowman. The 3-2 pitch. Stanton hits it sharply to third. Bobbled by Garcia. Stays with it and makes the play.
Sometimes things are not as cleanly put away as you anticipate, and staying with it, Greg Garcia did. And you can laugh about it when he's out.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you can laugh.
That's right.
Garcia's made 3 errors this year, and that's been the knock on him, you know, sticking here at the major league level in terms of what position can he play and can he be trusted late innings, shortstop, second base, third base, and he's done a very nice job.
That extra club in his bag, however, is that he is a grinder and he finds a way. It may not be pretty, but he finds a way to win.
I love seeing him in this lineup every day.
I do too.
Something happens with him.
I do too.
Marcell Ozuna, big night for him. A double, run scored in the 5th, and a home run, a solo shot in the 2nd. You win when guys are hungry to win and hungry to play.
Amen, brother.
Here's a 1-2. Good pitch, tailing back in, and a strikeout for Bowman.
You talk about tying somebody up. This ball's about 6 inches off the plate. Good pitch from Bowman.
So here are the changes for the Cardinals. Bowman and Grichuk in the yellow on that graphic around the horn presented by Dobbs. Hazelbaker out of this game. Derek Dietrich 0 for 2. Breaking ball, and he pulls it foul. Dietrich is grounded out to second, also struck out. For those of you that have just tuned in, Colton Wong is a home run away from the cycle. Cardinals 12 hits, 11 runs, and Ichiro 2 hits shy of 3,000 at the start of play tonight. And he's 0 for 3 this evening. 0-2 the count.
How about this? Through the first 5 2/3 innings, the Marlins have left no one on base.
Another oddity of this game.
It's an odd game, man.
Here's the 0-2. Good block by Yadier Molina. All those innings, all those pitches. I guess we take it for granted because this time of the year, be easy just to try to pick that, not block it. A lot of guys do.
Yeah.
And it's held on to by Molina, and he picks up the strikeout. Dietrich claiming that that hit the ground. indeed they're going to pull the players back on the field, grounds crew back into the camera well, and that just adds to the oddity of this game.
Last night, we had a balk retracted. That's the first time we've seen that. Yadier Molina tried to sell it, and that ball was certainly in the dirt, a foul tip in the dirt, and that is not a clean catch. But the funny thing was the ground crew.
Oh, yeah.
They had 5 members of the ground crew going out ready to sweep the infield.
They start the music, and one of the grounds crew guys starts dancing. Wait a minute. Now, come on out, guys.
Now men at work can go to work.
Get on out there. A home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
And, you know, I guess we could say to our audience, Dan, if you're just joining us, too bad, because you've missed an entertaining game. This game has had everything, and we're only in the 7th inning.
Now, the crowd tonight is 27,414, 27,414. I don't mean this to be disrespectful to those that are here in attendance or follow the Miami Marlins, but if you had a hometown player in St. Louis going for $3,000, it would be the hardest ticket in town to get. It is rare. There's only been 29 of them that have gotten to 3,000 hits. And again, I don't mean that disrespectful towards the fan base in Miami, but there are a lot of empty seats on a night that Ichiro could make history.
And with Ichiro due up 6th in the 7th inning, there is a possibility, and particularly the way the Marlins swing the bats, that he could come up 2 more times.
Oh, 0-2 the count on Randal Grichuk. Runners left on, 6 for the Cardinals, none, as Tim mentioned, for Miami. 2nd inning of work for Whitgren. But it really would be, Tim. I mean, trying to get a ticket for a Cardinal that's going for $3,000 at Busch Stadium. Good luck. I remember back when McGuire was in his heyday and he was going for $500. It happened to coincide with the Padres coming to town and Tony Gwynn a few hits shy of 3,000. McGuire got number 500 off of Andy Ashby, and it was Gwynn that came up 1 hit shy of 3,000 in St. Louis. He did it.
He left town with 2,999 hits.
That's right. And the next night he did it in Montreal. And for those of us that were covering the team, and he was so good with the media. He said, if I'm not going to do it in San Diego, I'm really anxiously wanting to do it in St. Louis.
And he meant it,
yes.
not just playing to the hometown crowd.
He said it's a great baseball town, and I'm very close to Stan the Man. And every time that Tony Gwynn would come through St. Louis, he would go out to Stan the Man Inc., and those two would have lunch and visit, talk about hitting. And Stan was still at that point coming down to the ballpark. So he wanted to do it not only in St. Louis for the great fan base, but also because one of his favorite people in the world was Stan the Man, and he was there those nights. Here's Greg Garcia. And a chopper that's hit to second base. 2 down. These are players that were close, came up just a bit short. Frank Robinson, Barry Bonds, Hornsby, Mel Ott, Babe Ruth.
Pretty good hitters.
I'd say so. That's a heck of a list. Just proves the point of how rare it is to get to 3,000. How tough it is. Longevity, health.
I don't think I've ever seen that list. I haven't. That's a good list, right there. Not that that diminished their skills in any way, but it's just interesting.
Yeah. There are a handful of players that you could talk about now that could get to 3,000 after Ichiro. One of those would be Albert Pujols. He will get to 3,000 at some point. Adrian Beltre, the third baseman of the Rangers.
What a player.
I think it's a Hall of Fame career right now. 3 to 5
years ago, no one said that.
Nope.
And now everybody's saying that.
Yep. Got to be motivated to want to stay in the game even when you've made a boatload of money. That's part of it too. What motivates you as an individual? Is it the clubhouse and the fun, the fans, the chance at a championship, more money, chance at history? I mean, all those things are a part of it too.
Sure.
Ichiro said this past week he wants to play until 50.
He might, the way he takes care of himself.
In the left center, there's Ichiro. You were telling me before the game that you were down on the field and just watching him stretch, and you came away, you said, Dan, listen to this.
Well, what I saw, and here's a man who'll be 43 on October 22nd of this year. I saw him with his knees. He was sitting down. He had his feet splayed in steps toward the ground and the knees on the ground. Now I can think about the feet being splayed, but not the knees on the ground. It's a yoga move and a yoga position, and he held it for like 2 minutes.
Wow.
And it's just remarkable what he does. He is never hurt. He was on the DL in 2009 for 2 weeks because of a bleeding ulcer. That's it in 16 years. He was Rookie of the Year and MVP in 2000. The only other guy who did that, Fred Lynn of the Boston Red Sox in 1975. You could go on and on and on and on. He is just remarkable.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Holiday.
And, you know, we were also talking about the commercial endorsements that Ichiro has in Japan. I don't know what they are, but it's got to be off the charts.
Astronomical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Millions. Adored in Japan.
A walk to Holiday. The Cardinals have received 6 walks tonight. Runners at first and second. Ichiro would join Rod Carew, born in Panama, Roberto Clemente, Puerto Rico, Rafael Palmeiro, Cuba, is the only players born outside the continental United States with 3,000 hits. Don Mattingly will have the rest of tonight and 2 more games on this homestand to have him do it here in Miami. If not, potential then of a historic hit shifts to Wrigley Field in Chicago, and after that Coors Field in Denver. So 6 games away from home, and then they're back at Marlins Park. I would think if he, with 2 games to go, let's just say for argument's sake he doesn't get a hit tonight, he would start Sunday.
Yes.
Here's Adams on base twice tonight, and he skies one into center field. Let's stretch. 11-6 St. Louis. Division leaders square off when Bryce Harper and the Nationals battle Buster Posey and the Giants. Then the Cardinals try to tame the power of Stanton and the Marlins. That's a game you can only see on FS1. So we'll not be with you on Fox Sports Midwest tomorrow. It's on FS1. Back with you on Sunday. We have seen it before. First time I can recall this year that Mike Matheny has gone out and warmed up the pitcher. The manager goes behind the plate, and he was warming up Matt Bowman. Now, Mike will do that with some of the young players in the minor leagues during spring training to get a better look of them.
I've never noticed it.
He's done that with Alex Reyes, the top prospect. We talk about getting a good look. That's a pretty good look when you're the catcher behind the plate. You can give your own scouting report.
I can't imagine getting behind the plate catching Alex Reyes.
No, he's throwing 101.
Nightmares. Fall out of bed at night.
Here's JT Realmuto. You know, I get yelled at every once in a while. By you, by the way. And I remember telling you in fantasy camp, you said, Dan, are you playing? I said, yeah, they asked me to play. Well, what are you doing? I'm catching. What are you doing?
I did.
What do you think? Don't do that.
What's wrong with you?
You don't do that, Dan.
I couldn't believe it.
I could tell you the campers weren't throwing 101.
Well, it's still insane.
A strikeout for Bowman, his 3rd in a row. Spoken like a guy that's done it a few times. You had enough.
I give up.
Well, Matt Bowman has done exactly what the Cardinals were hoping for. He's come in relief of Mike Leake, 4 up, 4 down with 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, impressive with those air balls he's been throwing. The inside tailing fastball to Ozuna, change up to get Dietrich and Real Muto.
The catchers now of today are conditioned to hand that baseball once it hits the dirt right to the home plate umpire. Molina didn't even hesitate. Caught it, just went right back to the home plate umpire.
What we used to do, we were trained to do and told to do, is keep the ball that hits the dirt in the game.
Absolutely.
Because of a dirty ball. You wanted a dirty ball. The dirtier the better. From a hitter's standpoint, the newer the better, because they see it better.
I remember talking with Bill DeWitt Jr., the Cardinals owner, and I said, what do you remember growing up around your dad and being in the baseball business for so many years and with Branch Rickey? And I said, with that, what's really changed? And he said, something as simple as the baseballs. He said, we used to count the baseballs. That was money back then. A ball would go in the seats. That's whatever it would cost the club to have that baseball. And now, you know, it's just commonplace. You throw it out.
I remember the Big Red Machine run by a former Cardinal executive named Dick Wagner.
Sure.
In the late 70s. It was a fine for an outfielder to catch a ball third out in the inning, toss it up in the stands. A fine. He had to pay for the ball.
Right. Slowly hit to the right side. And Colton Long makes the play. Next time you want to grab Cardinal tickets, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find the seats you'll love, home or road, whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. By the way, the Cardinals fantasy camp will be down here in Florida. That is January 26th through the 30th. Open spots available at cardinals.com/fantasycamp. Tim McCarver will be there again, my understanding.
Yes, I am. I will.
Always a fun time. Theme this year was the 06 players taking part in the camp, and we hadn't seen a number of those players. They always refresh the roster with former players. Hit up the middle, positioned perfectly off the bat of Adeiny Echeverria, the pitch hitter. And again, Miami, nobody left on. 2 scoreless for Matt Pullman. Miami in relief of Whitgren. So Chevy called to the pen. Now, Tim, you realize with the fantasy camp, we try to make this as much of an experience for the campers to be a big leaguer. And so that's why I am so excited that you have agreed to go behind the plate.
No, I have not. Don't sell that. That's false advertising. I ain't going.
We'll get the equipment.
I'll guarantee you, I ain't going to catch. You can book that.
So you're happy to speak.
I'm happy to speak. That doesn't require squatting.
All right, I'll take it off the brochure.
Take it off the brochure, baby.
Here's Yadier Molina, and he hits it out of play. Always a lot of fun. That'll be in late January at Jupiter. Molina with a single tonight. That was back in the second to extend his hitting streak to 13. He's also doubled and scored, picked up an RBI, and looks at a breaking ball low. Guys in the studio talking about Pittsburgh. A lot of talk that the Pirates may move Mark Melancon, their outstanding closer. Free agent to be. They're not sure they could re-sign him. Certainly if you trade him, then you know their thought process is we have no chance to retain him. They've got a couple of guys that they like at the back end of their games that maybe could fill in that spot. And there's another base hit for Yadier Molina. Fair ball inside the right field line.
I would be interested. And I'm sure a number of clubs are.
Our Kubota power stats. As Jed Jerko will hit for the Cardinals coming off the bench tonight.
Last year
with 7 home runs since the break.
Pardon me, Dan, but a lot depends on that last year of the contract, that 2-month rental by teams. Rollins Chapman, the biggest in years, I think, for that piece to play in the Cubs, taking a shot. And why not?
And if you're that guy that gets traded, you're a Aroldis Chapman, be ready to pitch the next 2 months. They're going to get their money's worth, which is what the Cubs did last night, using him for a 4-out save, which he had not done yet this year.
All bets are off as far as Joe Madden and the Cubs are concerned.
Sure.
You're the guy. Be ready.
It's Dean Kiekefer getting loose. When CC Sabathia was picked up by Milwaukee a few years ago, free agent to be, and he was awesome down the stretch. David Price did that last year with Toronto. They're going to ride you and ride you hard. I mean, in terms of the innings and pitch counts, throw that stuff out the window. They went out to get you to be a difference maker, and they're going to find out and let you be that guy.
If you hurt the arm in the process, so be it.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. Ball scoots away, and Yadier Molina stays put. Next year should be a fun year, not only at the ballpark, but also with the fantasy camp, because we'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary of the 1967 World Champion Cardinals. That'll be great. Just like we had a few years ago with 64.
Gotta love it. A lot of great memories, man.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Also be a celebration of the '87 team that was 1 win away from a world championship in 1987 against Minnesota. 2-2 the count. Jerko waves at it and strikes out.
That was the first World Series, by the way, the 1987 World Series with the Minnesota Twins facing the Cardinals. That's Tommy Pham, the drive of the game. Nissan drive of the game. But that was the first World Series where the home team won every game.
Right.
Minnesota winning the first 2 up there. The Cardinals sweeping the Twins. The 3 they played in St. Louis, the famous Tom Lawless home run. And then Kirby Puckett winning game 6 with a home run on a 3-0 count. Charlie Leibrandt, I believe, was that?
That was 91.
That was 91. Right. Sorry. Got it confused.
That was also a year in '91 against the Braves, in which they won all 4 games. But going back to your point, I talked to Willie McGee, speaking of fantasy camp. He was there this last year, and we were talking about that 1987 series, and I said, I've always wanted to ask you, did you feel that the big fans at the Dome were blowing out when you were in center field and then turned off when you were at the plate? And he confirmed it. He said yes.
Really?
He said yes. He said it sure seemed that way because there was a nice breeze going out to center field when they were hitting. Breaking ball and a strikeout of Pham. So 2 strikeouts back to back, and it brings in Colt Wong. Wong, a home run shy of the cycle. The last to do it, Mark Grudzielanek, back in 2005. 1 year in St. Louis as the Cardinals' second baseman after a number of years as shortstop in Montreal. AT&T high-speed replays the hits for Colt Wong. Double, triple, single, fly down last time up. Grudzielanek did that in a day game, if I remember properly. Old Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Busch Stadium 2. Here's the 0-1 pitch.
Tough month to do it, too. April, the ball's not carrying as well.
By the way, the '87 Twins only had 29 wins on the road that year. Here's a 1-1 inside. So that furthers the point of just how well they played at home. 56 wins at home that season. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Colt Wong. Ground ball. And stepping on the bag, Derek Dietrich. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals lead 11-6. Bud Light, raise 1-2 right now. And by 4, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, right after the game last night, Tim went to South Beach, and we just picked with it to get here for tonight. South Beach. Now that's people watching.
A few years ago, I might have done that.
Dean Kekeffer is the new pitcher in for the Cardinals, and it's our Chevy call to the pen.
These days, I'm into reading after a game.
A little bed, too?
Yeah.
A little bedtime?
Yep. A little reading, reviewing the game.
Well, I know you actually do reports on all your games. So you stay up to about 2 or 3, and then call me at 6, and we go over the previous night. What we need to do better.
I usually go and get my cell phone fixed. I spent 3 days or 3 days. I spent 3 hours this morning, seemed like 3 days, trying to get my cell phone fixed.
But all is right with the world.
All is right now with the world. But not before that. No.
D. Gordon, an infield hit back in the 5th. Ichiro is due up 3rd. Martin Prado on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keffer uses a couple of different arm slots against lefties.
He's tough on left-handers, no question about that. You drop down like that with that tailing fastball inside.
Monday pitch arsenal, the fastball, slider, changeup for Keffer.
Not even thinking about a changeup to a left-handed hitter, so he'll be strictly fastball, slider, but he is tough.
1-2 pitch gets him to reach and pulled it foul. So Wong, a home run shy of the cycle. 17 combined runs. Ichiro Suzuki 2 hits shy still of 3,000. 0 for 3 tonight.
Funny about a guy like D. Gordon, he signed that big contract, over $50 million to hit the ball softly.
Most guys get that kind of money because they can pop it.
Yeah.
Put the ball on the ground and run. Three-two pitch, softly hit into center. 2-hit night for D. Gordon.
Didn't hit it hard, and he rarely does. No power, but good legs.
Here's Martin Prado, 3-run homer back in the 5th. 2 for 3 tonight, also a single into center field. Cardinals with 3 runs in the 2nd, 6 in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th. 14 hits, 11 runs. Miami scored 5 runs in the 5th inning. 2-0.
No walks. That's the mantra anytime a pitcher has a 5-run lead pitching in the 8th inning. Do not walk a batter. And Dean knows that. But behind a very good hitter in Prado.
The 2-0. Popped up to the right side. Adams is over, so is Wong, and is it caught? It is. What a catch by Colton Wong. An incredible play by Wong in the stands.
I think even though Gordon went to second base, Wong with the wherewithal to come out of there and throw the ball to second base. Now the umpires are convening to see if a fan interfered with Wong, but he's in the stands. I'm not too sure. I think they're going to have to give. The fan interferes, but that's once Colton Wong is in the stands, and that's no man's land.
They could say that Wong would make this catch. The fan then, watch, as he's trying to pull it down, it pushes Wong a little bit. And I'm not saying that Wong wouldn't have wound up where he's at right there, but they could say that that did impede the progress of trying to get back.
But he's in the stands. Once you're in the stands, you lose all rights. So that's why I think Gordon is going to be allowed to go to second base. That,
regardless, what a catch.
Yeah. Oh, you want the one out. That's the key thing. Doesn't matter if Gordon went to third, for crying out loud, but it was a heads-up play. Well, you're exactly right.
Take another look here. Looked to be that it went through the hands of the fan too and into the glove of Wong.
See, he's in the stands though. Right now, when you're in the stands, you lose all your rights that you would have maintained had you been in fair territory.
They're going to bring Gordon back, I believe.
Either that or they pointed him to stay on second base. I think that's the point there. And I guess that's the point.
I get your point.
Now Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny talking to home plate umpire John Hirschbeck. Umpires retracted a balk last night. Been a very interesting 2 games for them too.
Yeah.
But I can understand. I agree with the umpires here. I think once you're in the stands, a fan can, I mean, not do anything, but you're in the fans part of the ballpark.
Sure.
And the key point is Gordon made a very good play.
So Don Mattingly getting a clarification from the home plate umpire, who's also the crew chief, John Hirschbeck. Ichiro will be the hitter, and he's hitless tonight. Keycapper has just been throwing a little bit to keep loose. So 1 out, and here is Ichiro. First pitch is strike. Hit into a double play and a soft liner. Started the runner from first, went 5-3. Tapped out 1 in front of the plate, then grounded out to short. Hitless tonight, 3 plate appearances. 0-2.
The odds are about 15-1 that he'll hit the ball to left field. Spinning out of there like that.
Lefty on the mound.
Yep.
0-2 pitch.
Down.
Struck him out. So Keycapper strikes out Ichiro, and he's hitless tonight, 0-4.
That's a big out with the big man coming up.
Sure is.
Keycapper making sure that he congratulates Colton Wong for that big play in the stands.
So with 2 out, Stanton coming up. Mike Matheny goes to his pen. Chevy called to the pen. As presented by the authority of the Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals.
How odd is that in this odd game? He took his face guard off.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could take it off.
He would do it against lefties, but not righties. Righties, he always had it on. So occasionally he would take it off against left-handed pitching. And against the righties, he would always have it on. And that's how he explained it to me in spring training. You could see a scenario in which Maness gets the final 4 outs in this game for the Cardinals.
Don't know how the rest of the series is going to work out, but the Cardinals pitchers have really pitched Stanton well.
Yes.
1 ball out of the infield in 7 tries.
1-2 pitch. Chopped foul. Been an up and down year for Seth Maness. Did not have a good spring, but usually that's not a big deal for him. He hasn't had a good spring in a while, but when the games count, he turns it on. This year dealing with some issues with his arm. Back to Maness, and he gets Stanton. Cardinals have done a tremendous job against Giancarlo Stanton this series here in Miami. It's 11-6. All right, guys, thanks. It's Randal Grichuk. He's in the 9th spot in this lineup. 0 for 1 tonight. 11-6 St. Louis. That was the first runner of the night that the Marlins had left stranded all game long. In the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals have left 9 on. One ball, 1 strike. I wonder if Ichiro doesn't get to 3,000 tomorrow. Does he announce after the game that yes, Ichiro will start on Sunday to get the word out so that fans would come out and watch?
That's a very, very valid point. I agree with that.
I think you have to.
Yeah, sure. Show business, man.
Yep. The 2-1 pitch. I'll say this, though. Don Mattingly has been steadfast in terms of when and if he would play Ichiro. And he was even saying it the other day. There's a reason that Suzuki came into tonight's game at 335 and still producing as Grichuk hits it down the left field line, and it's a foul ball. They've been, you know, realistic with him in terms of, look, he's 42. Now, if we get him to 400 to 500 at bats, which is what happened last year because of all the injuries, we're in trouble. He can't play that much, and Ichiro has said that Don Mattingly has handled him perfectly.
That's why also that you said resting him tomorrow, but playing him on Sunday and promoted.
Yep.
It's a big deal. Plus, we're on the air on Sunday. That's a big deal, too.
We want to see it, too.
You bet we do.
A 2-2 pitch to Randal Grichuk. It's sharply to short. Taken there by Rojas. And Randal is 0 for 2. When it comes down to it, Tim, it's really all about us anyway.
Boy, I'm telling you. You get away with murder.
I was listening today as they had that big seminar with the Hall of Famers, but they also had an individual that helped put the stadium together, Marlins Park, and behind the hitters they've got all the fish as Garcia lifts a fly ball out to left. And one of the questions from a fan was, well, aren't you concerned about foul balls that hit that tank? And it's bulletproof glass that they use.
Really?
Behind home plate for that tank of fish.
You got to protect the fish. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
2 outs. And you've got the sculpture in left. The fences have been moved in. The roof is closed right now. I also learned that it costs them $15. A total of $15 every time they open up the roof. And he said where the expense comes in, he said it's not the roof, but it's in how we treat the grass here at Marlins Park. And so when you see a ball that skids on the infield or the outfield and some of that sand is popping up, they're using a grass surface very similar to many of the golf courses in the area. And they had to learn the hard way, they said. Jeff Lee Loria did not want any artificial turf. He wanted real grass. So how to make sure the proper sunlight hits it, how to cool the stadium, mixing all that together. And he said it was trial by error, you know, and
sure,
trying to figure it out the first couple of seasons of the ballpark. I like this place.
Yeah, I do too. We talked about it last night.
Certainly is better than the last ballpark.
A lot of energy.
As Diaz swings and misses, and McGowan picks up the strikeout. So we head to the bottom of the ninth. And it's 11-6. Cardinals on top. And Seth is getting better. I mean, it's clear that sinker is starting to really work the way that we've seen it in years past. Got off to a very rough start. Got the final out in the bottom of the 8th, and now trying to record the final 3 outs here in the 9th. Marcell Ozuna. (11-6) the lead for the Cardinals. Ozuna with a double and a home run tonight. Cardinals hold on. They break a tie with Miami in the wild card race. There's your ground ball hit left side. Garcia over to Adams, 1 away.
Greg Garcia realizing that if he doesn't feel that ball, Diaz has too much to do because it was not hit sharply enough. Good play by Greg.
Tim, I can't explain it. I'm sure you can't either. We're asked about it daily. Why do the Cardinals play so well away from Busch Stadium as opposed to what they do at home? But we can tell you, and being around this team every day, it's a different team on the road.
Yep.
Numbers bear that out. Wins bear that out. They play with such great confidence on the road. Trying to go to 31-17 away from Busch Stadium this year. Currently the best road record in all of Major League Baseball. At home, 25-30. But this road trip may be a defining trip for the Cardinals with the teams that they're playing in the wild card hunt, the pitching that they've faced. As that bat is into the stands.
Something I've never understood, how a player can lose the bat. I've never understood that. You've got pine tar, batting gloves, rosin. Never understood that. How a hitter could do that, or a batter. Mike Matheny hoping everybody's all right. It appears they are.
2-2 hit out of play.
Well, that's that lady, one fan that does not appear to be unscathed.
Little pop up into shallow left. Diaz calling for it, immediately calling off the left fielder to make that catch. Our Budweiser player of the game, and a night that started with us looking at Ichiro trying to chase history. Colton Wong, a home run away from the cycle. He is your Budweiser player of the game. JT Realmuto. One pitch. On 2-1 and a base hit into center. Brings him Miguel Rojas, and the final hope for the Miami Marlins. Runner at first, 2 outs here at the bottom of the 9th. 11-6. The Cardinals have the lead. But it just feels like on this trip, Tim, that the team is coming together. Big wins, important wins.
2 out of 3 in New York. Winning last night's game. That was against a man who was 26-1 in this ballpark. Jose Fernandez beating a guy on Wednesday night who had 52 consecutive saves.
Ground ball back to Manis. He'll record the final 4 outs, and the Cardinals have taken the first 2 in this series. 11-6 the final. It's another big win for the Cardinals. They now move ahead of Miami in the wild card. And St. Louis, another win on the road. They're 31-17 away from Busch.
It's kind of good when you get on a winning streak and you can't explain it. You don't want to explain it.
That's what's happening right now.
That's right.
Team is playing very good baseball. 14 hit attack tonight, 11 runs, and it's on to the post-game show.